Good morning, students. I hope you are all fine. In last two video sessions, we are seeing about the chapter Multimedia and Desktop Publishing. These are the topics which have been covered in last two video sessions. Introduction to Multimedia, Multimedia definition, components of Multimedia, Multimedia file formats. In this video session, you are going to learn about steps in multimedia production. So, to build a successful multimedia project, we require adequate time and efficient planning. These two are considered to be the most two important things for developing a successful multimedia project. So, adequate time and efficient planning is required for building a multimedia project. That multimedia project has got some phases. They say steps involved for developing the multimedia project. And we are going to see the steps one by one. Now, there are 12 steps given for developing a successful multimedia project. Step number 1, conceptual analysis and planning. 2, project design. 3, pre-production. 4, budgeting. 5, multimedia production team. 6, hardware, software selection. 7, defining the content. 8, preparing the structure. 9, production. 10, testing. 11, documentation. 12, delivering the multimedia product. First, we'll go to the step number 1, conceptual analysis and planning. The process of multimedia begins with conceptual ignition point. Ignition point is nothing but starting point of multimedia project. It's called ignition point. In your conceptual analysis and planning, in this step, we are able to identify the appropriate theme, budget, and content availability for the multimedia project. So theme, content availability, budget is being identified in your conceptual analysis and planning. Generally, what is theme? Main concept of project. We call as theme. Then content availability, depth and concept of the project we call as content availability. Of course, budget. Since you're a commerce student, you'll be very familiar about this word, budget. The plan to spend for the project we call as budget. Apart from that, in conceptual analysis and planning, one more criteria is added that is called copyright issues. Restricting unauthorized users to use this multimedia project, we call that as copyrights. Step 2, project design. In your project design, once a theme is finalized, we may get to this three things: goal of the project, objective of the project, activity of the project. What is goal? General statements are termed as goals. What is objective? Specific statements in the project is known as objectives. Let me give a small example to understand this goal and objective. Suppose you want to reach to a place called Annanagar and you start from Porshuvakam. Your goal is to reach Annanagar. So, what is specific statements then? Somebody may insist you catch so and so bus. Even a bus number is been given to you. Please catch 7M or 7H or something like that to reach to Annanagar. So specific statements in the project is known as objectives. General statements are known as goals. Then activities, series of actions performed to implement an objective. See, your goal is to reach Annanagar, and what bus you are going to catch out, that is your objective. Activity, series of actions performed to implement objective. You have to start from your home, you have to walk to your bus stand, then you have to catch a bus, then you have to go to the Annanagar, then you have to get down to Annanagar and reach that particular place. So series of actions performed to implement the objective. So these are the things which are being done in your project design. Step 3 is called pre-production. Based on the previous two phases, conceptual analysis and planning and project design, we go to the next phase, pre-production. In your pre-production, there are some sub-phases, phases which should be done before production, we call as pre-production. These are the 5 phases to be completed for pre-production before you go to production. Number 1, budgeting. Number 2, multimedia production team. Number 3, hardware software selection. Number 4, defining the content. Number 5, preparing the structure. These are the phases you have to complete in your pre-production to go to the next stage of production. So we will see what all these things. First one is budgeting. Of course, I said you what is budget. A plan to spend for the project we call as budgeting. So in budgeting, we have some phases like consultants, hardware, software, travel, communication, and publishing. So each and every phase, what is the budget you are going to spend for this multimedia project is being decided in this step that we call as budgeting. Step 5, multimedia production team. A production team for a high-end multimedia project requires team effort. Now you may be very interested in your sports. You might have come across cricket or football, whatever it may be. To win a game, team effort is very, very important. Same way, to build a successful multimedia project, multimedia production team members will play a very, very vital role. Who are the team members of this multimedia production team? Production manager, content specialist, script writer, text editor, multimedia architect, computer graphic architect, audio and video specialist, webmaster, or we can even call him as computer programmer. These are called as your multimedia production team members. Step 6, hardware and software selection. See, to build a multimedia project, we require a sufficient hardware and software to build a successful multimedia project. So, all multimedia application requires appropriate tools. One of the tool for developing multimedia projects is hardware and software. So hardware includes fastest CPU, RAM, huge monitors, sufficient disk for storing the records. You have to select what kind of hardware is required for building your multimedia project. Okay, what kind of CPU require, what kind of a RAM you require, what kind of a monitor they require, what kind of a disk capacity required to store your multimedia project, you have to decide. Then defining the content. Content is the stuff provided by the content specialist to the multimedia architect who prepares narration, bullets, charts, and tables. Now, he is the person who knows in depth of the multimedia project, who knows all the phases, what to be done. So only we call him as a content specialist, or we can even call him as a stuff provider for this multimedia. Now let us take a small example. Now you are very familiar in watching movies. So in movie, there's a person called director who plays a very vital role. Under him, we have a lot of technicians working. So he narrates the story to all the people who works under him. So he knows the entire activity to be done in that movie. Same way, content specialist knows each and every activity of this multimedia project, what to be done. He defines the stuff of that project. Step 8, preparing the structure. See, structure defines the activities for each and every responsible person. And what is the time and end time of this each and every activity of the person is being specified in preparing the structure. So a detailed structure must have information about all the steps along with the timeline of the future action. That we call as preparing the structure. Step 9, once all your pre-production phases are over. What are the pre-production phases we have seen? Budgeting, multimedia production team, hardware software selection, defining the content, preparing the structure. Once all your pre-production phases are over, we move on to the next level, that is called production. What is production? In multimedia application, after pre-production activity, the production phase starts. So this is the final process of building multimedia product, where in this phase, background music selection, sound recording, and several activities is being done for the multimedia project. Once everything is been finished, we get a pilot project. We can call that pilot project as a model project. A project is being ready now at this time. That is called pilot project. We can even call it as a sample project. Step 10, testing. To ensure that everything is in place, thereby avoiding the failure after the launch. See, once a product is being developed, we have to test whether that product is working in a better way or not. For that, testing must be performed. So to ensure that everything is in place, thereby avoiding the failure after launch. See, in multimedia project, we may be having different phases, whether the links are correct, everything is in proper way. We have to check it out by using testing process. So if it is a web-based product, its functioning is being tested with different browsers. Of course, you know what are browsers. To surf information on internet, we use browsers. Suppose we are going to launch your multimedia project on internet browsers. So we have to check that in internet browsers like Internet Explorer, Chrome, Mozilla, and Netscape Navigator. Why the people are going to check in all the browsers? Because some browsers may support some kind of file format, some browsers may not support some kind of file formats. We are going to check that in your web-based product. Then suppose if your multimedia project is going to be launched on a server, a local server, then you have to deploy that multimedia project on a server and test it. After testing process are over, the product is incorporated with valid suggested changes. Once this testing is over, some people may give you some recommendation to change something that has to be adapted to build the new testing process. Step 11, documentation. User documentation is a mandatory feature of all multimedia projects. Now, let us take a small example for this. You are buying some products on the market, right? It may be a cell phone or something else. Once you buy that cell phone, you can see a user manual containing the description of the product. Okay, so only they say documentation has all valuable information starting from the system requirement till the completion of testing. So documentation of a multimedia project will contain what all the system requirements is being available for this project, what all the information is being applied for this project is being completely given your user documentation. What does that it contain? Contact details, email address, and phone numbers are provided for technical support and sending suggestions and comments. All these things are available in your documentation. The last step, the 12 number step, is delivering the multimedia product. We can deliver the multimedia product on two mediums, CDs and DVDs, or in website. We have some drawbacks while you're delivering the multimedia product on website because bandwidth problems, plug-in problems, and play and audio video problems during the downloading time of multimedia may occur, and that has to be reviewed in your website launching. Then you have your CD and DVD. This is also one of the medium where you use your multimedia projects to be delivered for the end users. Finally, the multimedia application has been delivered in more effective way by the integration of two mediums, either by CD-ROM or by DVD and by internet. So these are the 12 phases or 12 steps followed for developing multimedia production. So we'll recap all the steps one more time. What are the steps followed for developing a successful multimedia project? Conceptual analysis and planning, project design, pre-production, budgeting, multimedia production team, hardware software selection, defining the content, preparing the structure, production, testing, documentation, delivering the multimedia product. So please go through this video and prepare the assignment, which is the questions given here. We will meet in the next video session. Thank you.